Hey everyone, so what I want to do is talk a little bit about DISC profiling. So I know on the 60-day challenge we sent it out to everybody and a lot of people don't really understand what DISC are they and what does it mean. So you've got 4 different kinds of personalities in the DISC profile. So first thing is you have the D, right? Then you have the I, then you have the S, and then you have the C. So let me explain to you the difference between the D, the I, the S, and the C. So the D is a very dominant person, very matter of fact, to the point. If you're ever talking to a D, you know because they're always talking in bullet points. Everything they say is yes, no. So you may send them a very long text message and you just get a yes back or one quick answer. That's a D. Now what's interesting about a D is they will only communicate with other Ds. So they only get along with other Ds that they're talking to. So it's important to understand that when you are talking with someone that is a D, that you are talking to them at their level and you're communicating with them at their level. Now, if you're an I, you're very influential. You're one of those people that you like, you're a social butterfly, you're into sales, you're communicating, you want to go to lunch and be friends with everyone, maybe 3-4 hour lunches. No one is a stranger. That's an I. You walk into a party, everyone knows you. That's an I. Now, S is someone who's very sentimental, very emotional. They say things that are auditory, like, I feel sad today, or did you hear how he talked to me? Those are S's. They're very emotional. Those are people like nurses, maybe people that do things out of the goodness of their heart, child protective services, secretaries. A lot of those are S's because they feel emotionally like they're making a difference. A C is someone who's very data driven. They all respond on numbers, spreadsheets, data, logic. There is no emotions involved. So if you get an I who's very emotional, and they're talking to a C who's very data driven, they're not going to normally get along because they are going to be on 2 different levels of communicating. And that's why it's important to understand what you are and how to communicate, because if you are an I in sales, right, and you are talking to someone who's a D, you're not going to get along unless you learn to talk like a D. You have to become a D so that you can talk like a D. And that's how you're going to be able to communicate with people. You have to be able to be almost a chameleon when you're learning DISC profiling so that you know how to talk to that person and you're able to communicate with that person. If you have employees, you cannot talk to a C profile the way you would talk to a D. Totally different. You cannot give one-word answers to a C. You've got to give very in-depth, logical answers that make sense. Otherwise, it's just not going to compute in their minds. So knowing DISC and knowing what your DISC is very important because you have to know what your strengths are, but also you've got to know what do you revert back to. So everyone is born with a certain DISC profile, and then over time, they will revert back to another type of DISC. And that is very important to understand is what do you revert back to? Because when you revert back to it, that is what you are in stressful times. So you may know someone that all of a sudden when things hit the fan and they get stressed, they start crying, or maybe they get real mad and angry. That's just them reverting back to their DISC. And you knowing that is very important because when you're maybe hiring someone, you want to know how are they in good times, but more importantly, how are they in bad times? How do they handle stressful situations? Well, a DISC profile, when you have them take the DISC test, that's how you know what are you right now and what is your original DISC. And then you can know, are they right for that role? Are they right for that position? So again, DISC is very, very important. There's a lot of things that you can learn about it. This is a very quick video and I can't go into everything, but understand DISC is something worth digging into. Hopefully this helps. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.